Welcome back, Falcons. Another beautiful day in Grand Marais in the Upper Peninsula. As we continue our discussion, as we continue our journey looking at morality, and we're still in the introduction of your text, what morality is and isn't, the purpose of this video is to look at the specifics of character and virtue. Both character and virtue are absolutely intrinsic. They are absolutely necessary in a discussion, in an understanding, in an application of morality. They are directly connected. So let's talk about virtue and character. Character, it's a great word to know. It's very important. There are a lot of people, Falcons, who they run their mouth and they say things like, I don't care what people think of me, or I don't care and it's not important to me. But I want to challenge you to really consider that, because I think when people say those kinds of things, they don't really mean them. They're just trying to perhaps, convince themselves. They're trying to go along with a crowd. They're trying to put a false face out there, a fake identity that's very well protected. If they can convince themselves and others that they really don't care, well, then they can pretend that opinions of others don't bother them, especially if those opinions aren't very kind. But I think for most of us, we do care. I care. I care very much, what people think about me. I don't want people to have a false understanding of who I am. My character is very important to me. It's part of our identity. Integrity is very important to me. Who I am and how I am perceived. Character, it's defined many ways, but I want it very clear in your vocab. Character, Falcons, is who you really are. And I always, when I write the word and write the definition in class, I always capitalize the word really. It's who you really are and who you choose to become. That's what character is. Character is who you really are and who you choose to become. It doesn't develop overnight. Character is not established with one choice, good or bad. So let's talk about who we really are. If I asked my students to write on a 3x5 card words that describe their character, who they really are, I wonder if there would be many students who would write things like deceitful, a liar, thief, troublemaker, gossip, disrespectful, dishonest. I'm kind of thinking, I wouldn't see a whole lot of that on those 3x5 cards. Oh no, we'd see things like honest, honesty, good friend, trustworthy, respectful. That's who we claim to be. Well, I'm hoping that if you claim to be those things, that it's true. But claiming them doesn't make them true. Flapping your mouth and saying, I'm honest, I'm respectful, you can trust me. I can say that till Jesus comes again. I can stand there and say it 10,000 times in a row, but saying it doesn't make it so. Character is who we really are, and it is established through the choices that we make, over time. If we are dishonest, if we lie to our parents, if we lie to our friends, if we lie to teachers, you can say all day long, I'm honest. No, you're not. You're a liar. But I wasn't caught, so that must mean I'm honest. Just because you weren't caught means nothing. If you are in a habit of lying, you're a liar. Whether you're, in quotation marks, caught or not. if you cannot be trusted to keep your responsibility, whether you are, in quotation marks, caught or not, you can't be trusted. It's a series of choices that we make every single day of our lives, and it's in small things as well as large things. Ladies and gentlemen, if you cannot be trusted in small things, what in the name of all that is good and holy makes you think you can be trusted in large things? So you lie to your parents, you lie to your teachers, in some examples, about very small things. And then you turn around and it's a matter of grave importance, and you get all offended because people don't believe you. Or you actually expect that people believe you. Well, how can they believe you if they can't trust you in small things? How can they trust you in large things? Character is vital. Character should mean everything to you. Your name, your character, who you are, your word. If you give your word, that is something that should not be bought or sold. That should mean everything. Can you be trusted? That's in small things as well as large things. Character is who you really are. We got a lot of people in the world, they get on social media. I don't see a lot of honesty on social media sometimes. I just wonder, I just see a lot of, in quotation marks, perfect people. I don't see the everyday people who are broken and flawed like me, right? Who make mistakes like me. Oh no, they're perfect. Well, that's fantasy, folks. Social media is not who you really are. That's who you claim to be. That's who you tell people you are, right? Character, who you really are. Okay, so how do we become a person of good character? Well, we get in the habit of doing the good. Good habits, ladies and gentlemen, are called virtues. Good habits are virtues. Good people are virtuous people. Virtues, the catechism, it's a great word and you need to have it in your vocab, is the firm and habitual disposition to do the good, the firm and habitual inclination to do the good. So when you are faced with a choice to do good or bad, you'll do good when you're in the habit of doing good. When you've developed the habit of doing good, you've developed the virtue of honesty, the virtue of generosity, the virtue of charity, the virtue of fortitude, the virtue of kindness, and so forth, okay? When you're in the habit. If you're in the habit of doing wrong, that's not a virtue, that's a vice. V-I-C-E. Virtues help us become the person God is calling us to be, become the person I think that we would like to be. We want to be an honorable person. Well, that comes with the choices that we make every day. The firm and habitual inclination to do the good, that's a virtue, and there are a lot of them. We're going to look at virtues as theological, and we're going to look at virtues as cardinal in just a few minutes. But before we go on, I want to point out something about character. Character is, once more, who you really are and who you choose to become. Because, like me, you've probably made mistakes in your life. I have grown. I'm a better person now than I was when I was your age, for sure. I like to think I'm a better person now than I was last year. I'd like to think that I'm on a continual pattern of growth, but I make mistakes along the way. I haven't always been as honest as I am today. I haven't always been the person I am today. That's why character is very important to me. I work very hard for it. I have worked very hard for it. If you've made mistakes, like me, for example, if you have made the mistake, if you've gotten in the habit of not being honest, of lying, of not being trustworthy. You've betrayed someone. You've betrayed a confidence. You've made a mistake. You don't have to stay there. Jesus has made that possible. You don't have to stay there. You can, one, be forgiven, be given God's mercy, and two, you can go on and become a better person. The mistakes of our past don't necessarily have to define who we are in this moment. We can become a better person. We have a tendency in our culture right now to go after people for mistakes in the past. Well, everyone's made mistakes. The question is, are they still the same person, or have they grown and become a better person? But you see, the hacks, the social media, the keyboard cowards out there, no, there's no opportunity for growth. If you said something that was unkind or nasty or what have you when you were 18, it doesn't matter that you're 58. You are to be condemned. Well, that's wrong. Our faith rejects that. We as people of faith need to reject that, this tendency in our culture right now, to hold every single person accountable for every sin that they ever committed, right? No opportunity for growth. We even want to hold people today in 2020 accountable for things that their ancestors did 155, 65, 75 years ago. No, don't buy into that. That's wrong. We reject that as Christians. First of all, we're not guilty for the sins of our ancestors. I'm guilty for the sins that I've committed, for what I've participated in. But most importantly, again, have we grown? Who are we? Who are we today? Have we become a better person? So, character, who you really are, who you choose to become, and with the assistance of developing good habits, which are called virtues. In our next segment, I want to talk about theological virtues and cardinal virtues. So another beautiful day in heaven, in Grand Marais, in the Upper Peninsula, and those shades of Superior Blue in front of you. Until next time, Falcons, thanks for listening. I hope you're taking notes. Taking notes, please.